Hello everybody and welcome to the first video in a long time with commentary. I did a video in this game a little bit ago, but it's been a while since I did an actual real life straight up video. So we are gonna go ahead and do it in this. We're gonna do a little I don't know if this is gonna be a quick look or my plan for this is basically show you what this weird, strange game is about, and show you that IGN giving this a like 6.7 is good, fair in some regards. Other regards, it's not. Just like everything in Grasshopper games, Grasshopper manufacturer, just like most things in their past. So, IGN has not been, most reviewers they're a very niche game company. They haven't been, not many places are too kind to them. But this is Let It Die. This is a free-to-play game, and yes, this is a free-to-play game. I'm still, every time I hear that, I'm blown away. I didn't pay like 20 bucks for this game, or 30 or 60. It's just a strange thing to not have to pay for and get a fair bit of game with a seemingly kick-ass community. Facebook has a great community for them. They have an official Facebook page. I will try and link that down in the description. If I don't, and you can hear this, go ahead and check their Facebook page out. It's just Let It Die in all caps. It has their character mascot, which is Uncle Death, and you will know exactly who I'm talking about when you see it. Doing a very Scream-esque pose with 3D glasses on. But besides that, this is a very strange niche game, as are many games from Grasshopper manufacturer, being things like Killer is Dead. If you played that on the PS3, great. You'll know kind of what we're getting into here. They have this kind of a hard style and a soft style. Shadows of the Damned and this are kind of their hard style, and I really like both. I just like Grasshopper games in general because Suda 51 is unadulterated in being weird and being, sorry about that, and being out there and funny and quirky, and it, for just some reason, it just works. And so, but again, Shadows of the Damned, Killer is Dead, Killer 7, if you played that back on the PS2, in GameCube, maybe. I think it might have been a GameCube game. But yeah, there's lots of stuff to go over, so I'm gonna try and make this as quick as possible. So we're gonna start at where the game typically starts you at. This is the fighter freezer. Basically, you get slots in this, and you'll see I'm gonna have 8. And my fighters have, of course, finished their expeditions, and you'll get to see that here as they rank up here. So that he lost, but I expect this. I expect losses. I just want the gear, and the splithium, which we'll talk about, and I basically just want the resources they bring back. I really don't mind if they lose too much. I don't know if it has any true benefit. I'm sure it's better if they win. But point being is that this is a free-to-play game, and it kind of has this rating aspect of, I want to say something like Clash of Clans, or it's kind of, it's a hint. You'll get a hint of mobile game, but it's not necessarily a bad hint. This game being so just interactive, and you can do things while things are processing, and even times in here, which is, this is the weapon shop with this. I told you this game is weird. This is a dude in what looks like a ventilation space helmet with a graduation cap on top of that, with glasses and a little weird Hitler mustache. It's a Japanese game. Grasshopper manufacturer is weird. Lollipop Chainsaw is another one of their games. Shadows of the Damned. It's weird. But I genuinely appreciate the weird. It's fine with me. I kind of think it's weird and funny, and I can giggle at it. If that kind of thing is not your niche, then you probably won't like this game too much. But this is all of my stuff. This is not at all what you'll look like when you start this game. You'll start out with literally nothing in this. So you collect all of these weapons through blueprints, and same with all the gear. You do blueprints for all the base, you upgrade the base, and then you get an upgraded of that, and I believe there's at least 1 or 2 more tiers past that. So there's lots of stuff to upgrade and do in this game. You can sell stuff out of your death bag, which is just your inventory, your carryable inventory. So I have lots of resources on this character that is not for resource farming, which is just genius me, I know. But you have weapons, you have very weird weapons like a hot iron. This setting is post-apocalyptic in a Tower of Babel-esque expanse. That's basically what this is. It's called the Tower of Barbs, and it's basically a Tower of Babel kind of thing. You make it to the top. If you don't know the story of the Tower of Babel, you make it to the top, and you can, I believe it's connect or talk to God. I think that's the gist of it. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But it's something to do with getting to the top and relating to religion and God and different things like that. But the Tower of Barbs, which is the setting of this entire game, is basically a big post-apocalyptic dungeon crawler with a very, very similar style to another game that came out this year with better controls. I'm just going to say it. The controls in this, as you can see by the character just kind of like skating, the controls in this can be at times a bit shaky and a bit frustrating. God knows I've died more times than I like to admit in this game because of inputs and kind of this mix of oh shit with unresponsiveness. But the controls are finicky, but you can get used to them. But that's neither here nor there. We'll talk about her in a minute. But I didn't show you something here, which is really interesting. It is the R&D.
Welcome back.
So this is how you upgrade all of your stuff. You go through the tower, and as you go up the tower, you get to this certain points, floors, points, whatever, where you get materials. So materials are, of course, in any dungeon crawler that has this kind of material grind kind of thing, are just scattered. So you'll find, let me give you an example. Iron scraps on the first set of floors, veneer planks in the first set of floors. You can find them different places I've seen, but it's tiered. So the first 10 floors are basically where you farm like iron scraps, veneer planks. The blue metals for like DoD arms. Green is kind of the second tier. It's kind of complicated, but it's basically you get each tier of the tower has different tiered materials. And as you can see, I've reached the 3rd tier. There's 4 tiers currently in the game, and I know for a fact they're going to be adding at least, I think, more levels to the towers, as far as I'm aware. If someone knows and are not aware, that's not correct, I should say. Go ahead and correct me in the comments. That's perfectly fine if you correct me. I don't mind that. I'd rather be informed than uninformed, of course. Then there are things like massive iron bolts, which is, of course, on the 3rd tiers of the tower, MDF. You can see it's a tiered upgrading system. Ooh, I didn't know I could make that. That makes me happy. Leather, massive iron bolt. I'm gonna make that. So you could see, you'll actually be able to see this here. I wear this helmet a lot. The Sengoku helmet is a really, I enjoy it. I like that it gives me strength. It gives me a little more attack. But here's kind of the, I want to say, aspect of a mobile game. But I have never seen anything in this upgrading system that has gone more than a half hour. And again, so this upgrade will take a half hour. You can use their premium currency, which are called death metals. And of course you get this nice interface that connects into the game itself. Direct hell insurance is a thing in the game that's kind of loosely tied to the game. So you can, of course, do microtransactions. But you don't need to. That's the cool thing. This is not a pay-to-win game. I noticed one part in particular, and this is my own experience.
Come back anytime.
There's a part in the upper floors of the tower where I was very obviously under-geared, and I had to get past a specific kind of very spongy boss. And if you don't know what I mean by spongy is basically when a boss has, for maybe what you have at the time in a tiered game like this, has way too much defense, way too much health, and just is a pain in the ass to kill. Now, I had like let's take this weapon for example, the Red Hot Iron Plus. I had mine at +2. I didn't have one on me because I was leveling another weapon, because each weapon has its own mastery. Basically, I had I think it was a machete or something. I got to that boss and got absolutely destroyed. And I am a very hard-headed person. I will take a game and I will totally try and throw myself at a wall. The only problem with that is that this particular wall happens to be, if you die enough, a paywall. Now, you can pay in 2 ways to get a fighter back from death. So that's kind of the whole idea, is that there's a fighter freezer, and if one of your fighters dies, they become an NPC in the actual tower called a hater. And we're going to start going up as I talk here. You cannot go further. Oh, okay. I didn't know my reward box couldn't be full if I did that. So we'll do this as I talk. But the whole point is that it can turn into a game where you have to pay to get a fighter back, and some of the prices of the kill coins, which is of course the regular currency that you pick up from killing things, it gets very expensive every level you go up. Early game, it seems ridiculously expensive, and then you see what ridiculously expensive is, and I made little air quotes, is later in the game. Ridiculously expensive in the later game is like, I had one that was, I think, 62,000 kill coins to get back, and that is like a decent run in the levels I was in, like the brand new levels after the floor 20 boss. So I got to floor 20, I killed the boss, I kept going to just kind of probe the next set, the next 10 floors. Well, I died, of course. Wow, we have lots of consumables. Let's take the head and the pants, and we will be on our way. Ooh, plus. But it gets very expensive in kill coins, and of course the incentive of the game to buy the premium currency, which you can see if you look in the top right hand corner. There's a little like pass ×2, and then a stacked pass ×0, and then right just to the left of that you see my currencies. The rainbow skull at the top are death medals. That is the paid currency. The second one, the gold, is of course like gold. It's like anything that drops in a dungeon crawler. They're called kill coins. That's what you get. Now my max is upgraded a lot because I invested in it. So is my splithium, which is Little Blue Flame. Little Blue Flame, as you can see, is used to upgrade things because mine went down exponentially after I did the Sengoku helmet. Now, the rest of the stuff on the screen is a little harder to explain, and I might do more in depth, but later on, but I'm not going to do that now. My story will conclude though with, after I upgraded a couple and probed maybe the first couple floors after that that big boss at floor 20, I found out that after I had leveled that iron up, my main, that was my personal main weapon. After I'd leveled that up, I was surprisingly stronger as long as I could avoid attacks. Avoiding attacks is key. If you get hit, then you start, that morale starts to go down, and at least for me, morale starts to go down, and everything after that's kind of, and then you start to get hit, and it's irritating, I'd say the least. But then you have mechanics like this where you get kill coins out of boxes, and lots of course. This is very somewhere I saw listed this as steampunk. this is very much not a steampunk game. This is a post-apocalyptic game, if anything. And then, of course, there are beasts all over the tower, which you can catch, and you can eat immediately, or you can stow in your pocket. Now, if you stow them in your pocket, you can do something kind of cool, which on the touchpad, on the left side of the touchpad, you can do this, which is you can throw it, and the frog will just hop away. But if you put it away and wait till you get to a fire, I had a machete like that, only it was upgraded. We're gonna leave it. But the point is that if you get to a fire and you have a beast or something of the sort, you can cook it and get a greater effect of the frog. So if the frogs restore your health, and I believe it's a small. Here's our first hit, or well, our first screecher, I think they're screamers. What the hell did he just do? He was dodging? I've never seen anyone do that before. Like he flicked himself out of the way, like he just dodged, oh goodness. Okay, so this is a hater. See, the level 89 right above that box is not the level of the box. It is the level of an enemy behind that box. I think I can aim this. Beautiful. Okay, so this is a great way I found to take care of haters. There are these things later on in the third tier, the start of the third tier floors called brain shrooms or something like that. Something very strange like that. And they make you drowsy. Drowsy, or I think that's the saddest effect. Drowsy is code word for you are vulnerable to an insta-kill. Well, if you couple that with, if you throw that at a hater and run up to them, you can immediately kill a hater. So I'm 102. I could have probably taken that hater, especially because she had a slow weapon and this longsword here. I'm actually going to turn the game a bit down. Now that the voice down anyway, because that's a bit loud for me. But I could have probably taken that hater, but I wanted to kind of show myself. It's interesting, it's neat, it's a kind of an alternate way if you have the ability to deal with them. But I don't know, my critiques of this game are that everything is... things later on, if you are not geared appropriately, just like most free-to-player MMO games, if you're not geared appropriately, things will seem absolutely impossible for you. It will seem like everything is... Does he have... Oh, no, he doesn't. Everything will seem... It's like in a game like Destiny. Some things in Destiny seem bullet spongy. And that's kind of how it is. It's not bullet sponge, but it's definitely, some things are definitely spongy. But if you're geared appropriately, and it's kind of a hard thing to gauge when you're first going through an area if you're geared appropriately, but if you're not killing things in 2 or 3 hits, if things are not blocking you, then you need to go back down, reassess the situation, your whole attack plan for the next few floors. At least that's what I've come to the conclusion. Yeah, if you're not killing things in, like, I'm one-shotting everything down here because my level is 102. This is my attacker character. She has some of the highest attack with all weapons in the game right now. That I have access to, of course. But if you're not killing things in 2 or 3 hits, even with weapons you pick up, maybe 4 hits with something you pick up, but if you're not killing things pretty quickly, it will not only disrupt the flow of combat in this game, but it will also lead to the opinion that everything is tanky, which everything in this game is not tanky. I've played games where, like, a good chunk is just spongy. Everything is just a sponge for damage, and it's not only is it frustrating, it makes you not want to play that game, because it's like, well, if all I'm doing is doing the same 2 attacks or same 3 attacks over and over and over and over, why do I want to play it? But again, if you're equipped well enough, or you've been picking up weapons early on in the stage or towards the end of the stage, then you're gonna kind of see where your weapons need to be. I would suggest, if you got to a place where things were starting to feel spongy, and you're picking up weapons like this fire longsword. Let's give this the hater that I killed, or this lance. This lance is at plus nothing. It's base lance. Let me show you the stats to it. Because it's so damaged, which the durability is not the green bar under the level, but it's actually under the green photo of the lance. It's that white bar directly under the picture. But its base attack is 228, which is killer. I mean, let me give you an example. This is multiple hits, decreasing, of course, if you don't actually make contact with the iron. But this is my best weapon right now. This is something, it's slow, but this is something I picked up off the floor, off of a dead guy in the beginning of the 3rd tier floors. So, if you're not somewhere in that area, or 2-shotting, 3-shotting, maybe 4-shotting stuff with even stuff on the floor from that, that actual level, you need to rethink and go back down and start upgrading stuff. Of course, upgrading stuff is your choice. What's good for you. I wouldn't suggest a ton of the projectile weapons. Specifically, my least favorite is, you can see the mastery actually over there. I would not suggest the firework launcher. I've seen it upgraded into its, I think, close to 3rd tier, and it gets pretty decent, but it's a lot of investment for not a ton of reward until much later. See, because this is what it does. So if you run back and forth, you can avoid the firework launcher. It's not hard. But we're gonna get to the first mid-boss, which is on level 3, and then we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. But this was kind of, it wasn't misguided, but it's kind of, I just, in videos like this, I kind of ramble and give first impressions and just impressions of the things I'm seeing and things I've felt, and I'm not always the most concise, so I do apologize for that. But hopefully you like my rambling. I do. I like rambling. I like talking. So if you guys didn't already know that, if you've watched me ever at all, then you know I love to talk. But the point being is that this character and the things you're seeing are not, of course, not base game. Oh, God dang it. I've seen this guy before. So this is a hater that is a tier 4 as well, and I'm not exactly sure if this is like a developer, because I've seen lots of these like YTY Mark 4 at Cyril. I feel like that's a developer code for their own haters. Like their specific haters. I don't know if that's actually true, but it does feel like it, because this doesn't necessarily feel like a real person all the time. Like, the haters don't feel like real people. Well, they're not, but they don't always feel like they're a person. Like, usually you'll see, if it's a real person that's died and that is online, it's on, you'll see a gamer tag. Or a PSN network, whatever. And so, but the haters are nice because you can pick up their gear, which can be really good. I like the claws too. The claws are really goofy looking. They're like those old geisha claws. I don't know if they're geisha claws, but they definitely remind me of old Japan. I want to say Japan, but I actually don't know where those kinds of claws or nails come from. So I think it's Japan. I'm not exactly sure. Wait a minute. I'm going backwards. So yeah, that's another thing I should probably mention. Down on the D-pad is the map, and this is the overall map. So this is, and yes, I'm very aware this looks way complicated. And it is. It definitely is. This is definitely a dungeon crawler maze that you can spring out, and there's tons of different pathways, and in certain ways this map, it's not all randomly generated, but stuff changes, I think, either every day or every few days. That was a very burpy frog. But stuff does change. I was farming a boss on 16 here, Kaga. And I noticed that in the last couple days, the materials that appeared on her stage went from wood, an upper class of wood, to a version of, or I'm sorry, they went from a class of aluminum to a class of wood. So they went from, I believe it's wire mountains and cloth to, God, this thing is ridiculous. They went from cloth and, yeah, wire mountains to, dead frog. To something different. Oh, crap. But that's kind of the whole point, is that it's a beautiful, like, it's almost pseudo-randomized, I want to say. Like, it's not completely random, but there is enough randomization here, and differences, and things to farm, and things to upgrade, and things to do, to definitely keep someone busy. And if you were curious, actually, I actually need that. The control scheme, circle is roll, and block. You have to be standing still for block, though. You have to be, like, not moving, because if you're moving in any direction, you'll roll. But the L2 and R2, respectively, are main attacks. The special abilities for respective weapons are on R1 and L1. Triangle is rage move. You have to hold it. Your rage move is right next to your health and level and name up in the top right. It's the little square with 3 in it. I know people that were having a problem with that, so that's your rage meter. But the touchpad, the left side, clicking in the left side, brings out throwables. So if you have like a boom shroom or a grenade or a poison shroom, you can blow stuff up. Clicking the right side of the touchpad in eats whatever is in your top right hotbar. Sliding left or right on the touchpad lightly, like flicking on it, not pressing down on it at all, will move your items in the top right when you have them, when you have different items. And there's a hater who probably took out all of the... Yeah! Or that was not a suplex. It was a cool wrestling move. It was like a drop from the top rope kind of wrestling move. I wonder what that was, actually. Because that wasn't a Swanton bomb. See, I'm rambling again. It's almost impossible for me not to ramble in some fashion. But we are getting to the third floor here, and we're gonna cut this off because, one, I'm getting a bit tired myself. I actually am on some medication right now that it's to help with the reason I haven't been making videos is because of my back, I don't know what the hell happened, but muscles got either torn, strained, something. I get an MRI in a few days on Christmas Eve, actually, so I might make a video about like a gaming video, but I might be like voiceover about how that all went. I didn't really know how to talk about it, so I just kind of didn't, and I kind of went radio silent on not only the channel but just the internet in general. Other than my personal Facebook page, I kind of just went radio silent for a while about it. The first thing I said to anyone about it on Facebook was that I had just gotten into physical therapy. So, and that helped. That actually helped a lot. So, no. So the levels, they are different a bit. So you'll get this like some sameness in the corridor, like what to expect on certain levels of the tower. But you'll always get like fresh looking places, like this place. Like going from the first couple floors and the floors right after this, it's a nice change of pace to have this gory, weird set of walls and textures and different things like that. So it doesn't change a super like a ton, but I don't know. I like this game, so I'm a bit biased toward how I perceive it and how I'm going to talk to it about others. But I feel like if you like the kind of weirdness that I'm showing off and different things like that, then I think you'll very much appreciate this game and you'll like it. Plus, it's free. I would say tell anyone if this was a $30 game, then I'd be like, maybe you should wait just a little bit. So this is an actual person, just to put that in there. MG Punisher is like a dude on PlayStation that died here. His level 1 4-star character that he put all his nice decals on did actually die. Hello. Let's try and get to this boss. I'm not too worried about exploring because I've explored many times on Tamada. And what was kind of cool is I found out that the 4 names, if I'm not mistaken, are supposed to be or actually districts in Japan. Now, of course, I would have to look that up myself because I've never been to Japan. I'd love to go; it'd be interesting. But I've never been, unfortunately. But supposedly they are districts in Japan, which is really cool, actually. That's like a thing that they were not only willing to do, but just put in just because, just for shits and giggles. War on Song. We'll see if we can use that thing. Oh, I got it. Well, that'll fit. Ow. Yeah. Oh, that was a punch. That didn't hurt. Okay. Yeah, you can tell I'm getting a little sidetracked. I'm just gonna keep talking. The game, we're gonna get to a boss here, so I'll be able to talk about that. But I do apologize for how scatterbrained I am. This was a very spur of the moment video, because I don't know. I've just been feeling this game a lot lately, and I felt like I'm gonna start making videos again. And this and Destiny with a couple buddies has been my mainstay over the last like couple weeks, 3-4 weeks. It's actually been 3 or 4 weeks. Well, since this came out, it was Destiny, and then I dabbled. I got about halfway through Final Fantasy 15, and then due to circumstances and me not actually owning the game, I had to stop playing that, which that hurt my soul, because I do actually very much like that game. So I'm going to do something that you will not be able to do when you first fight him. I'm going to one-shot him. And of course, this was not a guide video for this guy. I actually have a video up on my VOD. I actually have a video up on my channel already that is fighting him with no healing items when I think it was my second fight with Killing. So, yeah, I had already kind of gotten the strategy down here and there, but it was definitely a good showing of what to expect early on when you first, start figuring out how to tackle bosses and how to do this and how to do that. But yeah, and then there's these 2 elevators. The reason I have the gold elevator is because the Grasshopper gifted everybody who played a couple express passes, which give you extra space in your inventory and access to this cool elevator, and a couple other little aesthetic things. But you get like little, snappy little elevator music, and then you get to if you're into it, you get to admire the woman that is operating said elevator. It's not really my forte. Whatever floats your boat. I do like the outfit she's in. I love someone to, well, we'll leave that for another time. But, yeah, this game is free. It's weird. It's Japanesey. I don't know if that's offensive, but it's very quirky and weird, just like the developer. If you're a Suda51 fan, he had very little to do with this, as far as I'm aware. But the whole point is that if you're a Grasshopper fan, if you're a fan of things like Killer is Dead, Killer 7, Lollipop Chainsaw, things like that. What else? There's one other one I mentioned earlier. I can't remember at the moment, but we're gonna eat this frog. But if you're a fan of those games, and you have a PS4, of course, I would absolutely give this a try because it's strangely addictive. It's almost like it's got that hint of a mobile game. Like it's like, ooh, damn, I gotta go collect this and this and this, and it's definitely grindy. If you're into grind, go for it. If you're not, then I cannot recommend this to you because it's just a grindy game. It's just one of those games that has a grind, and if you don't like a grind like Destiny or like searching for items, going back, resetting it, searching for items, going back like several times in a row, then I wouldn't recommend this. I'd recommend picking up the controller and trying it, but I would not recommend legitimately playing this game for a long period of time, because toward the mid game it gets pretty damn grindy. The last thing I will end with, of course, the best thing in my personal opinion to Strange Sounds, obviously. But she is the decal lady. She's a mushroom club. So you have decal slots on your fighters, because your fighters are basically action figures. And so you have all of these different effects that you can give them, like hold out with 1 HP just once when taking fatal damage. So that basically, if you don't get the gist, it's you get hit, you die, this particular decal will leave you with 1 HP, so you might be able to get away. Probably not, but you might. Then you have stuff like special strengthening, and you have all these different things, like just straight up more health, more damage, more defense, max stamina, which is great. I have that. I'm gonna have that on every character. Rage gauge build up. That's Mosquito, which is basically a very small vampirism kind of thing. Crit hits, and then you have discount ones, which, so if you have a character that can't use a weapon and you want them to be able to use that weapon, then you can put one of these on, and then bam, they'll be able to use that weapon, most likely. Then you have these other ones down here, which is if you equipping certain sets of armor will give you a defense increase. Then you have different ones which you pick up. You pick up mushrooms in the tower, and you bring them back, and she will trade you those special mushrooms for different decals, like special decals. Like hide and seek is new. You are harder to detect while crouching, but that requires gold tier. I've never seen a gold tier. I actually just bought this one with a couple of silver tiers. I haven't put it on anything. I'm kind of waiting, seeing, you know, if I can get another one here and there. You know, it's just resource management, kind of. It's more of a hands-on resource management. And then these are the decals I have on my little lady here. It's the max stamina. Okay, so this is a pretty interesting one. Eating a doom shroom or getting poisoned at all, any kind of poison, doesn't matter where it comes from, will slowly regen HP. Now, I have to play with this a little more, and the poison resistance stat. If I lower poison resistance, does that HP gain increase? I don't know, but maybe it does. And then, of course, I have max HP, and then I have the sprinter one, which is the regular sprinter, the 2-star sprinter, which is rated, which stamina decreases during dash and fatigue time, decreased by 30%, instead of 50 for the gold one. And then you have this cool thing called mushroom stew. Mushroom stew, basically, you drink it. She makes you this mushroom stew. You pay 50 grand in kill coins, and you drink this mushroom stew, and it reveals a special decal, which you can take on and off of any fighter at will. So the difference, the reason you can buy decals is these are not permanent decals. So if, say my decal, the silver heart decal, if I peel that off, or this fighter dies in PvP, or you know, the raids for player asymmetrical multiplayer, all these decals will be gone. I will be out probably 20-ish grand because of all these decals. Now, special decals, which I will show you in the lovely Underworld Rolodex here, which is basically just stats, missions, it's your menu. So here's my decals. So these decals, these platinum ones that are holographic, which is kind of nice, you can take on and off of any character at will. Even if I believe even if your character dies in multiplayer, they will go back to your, like, stash. they're yours. They're permanent. So, I mean, of course, you can get. I'm sure you can get duplicates. So when I have an electric weapon, this will be a great one to have. Slugger, that's blunt damage. So if I was using my hammer more than I am, that'd be great. I'm really counting on one of these to drop because slashing weapons seem to be godlike right now. This is a discount platinum one. So this is 50% of the necessary strength to equip weapons and armor, which is great for a character that doesn't necessarily have a ton of strength. Same with this one. This is a stamina one. So if you know, I can't run that much with one character, but they need a weapon, you know, one of my normal weapons or a good weapon, I can go for that one. But yeah, that's basically the Mushroom Club in a nutshell, and that's more or less that's the last real thing without getting like into every station here that is selectable, including the outside realm, which I'll show you before we go. So you are actually playing, the whole basis is you're playing a game within a game, but you don't really know if anything's real or fake or a game or what. But this is Uncle Death, of course. This is your, you know, mainstay, just weird trademark character. This is a typical character in a grasshopper game. This is one of those weird characters that's just, you know, he's there, he's great. Good God, why? I love him. He's a great mascot character for this game. And I hope to see more of him. Then if you have, I think it's Majin over here. He gives you, you know, tips every once in a while when he has his hat like that and he's looking at you. He'll give you a tip. Then you have Mother Barbs, which is the cassette player in the back, which gives you information on new stuff you see in the tower. Then you have, I don't actually know her name, Hariko? I don't know.
You look so sad. My life is all sadness.
And she is a very, how do I put it? Whiny teenager with a stupid bedazzled sticker flip phone that goes on about texting a picture of her and another girl to make her all pissed off. It's entertaining to an extent. That's just me, but nah. But then of course you select Uncle Death to go back into the game.
I believe in you.
Which is the little beetle on the right side right there, if you could see that. But yeah, there's a lot to this game. And when I'm more, I guess, cognizant and ooh, 10 grand, cool. When I'm more cognizant and when I feel like streaming or something like that, or doing a long session, I will definitely come back to this game, because it is, again, grindy, and it might be a little more fun if I have an audience, something like that. We'll see. But yeah, this has been an awfully long, quick look at Let It Die. If you have a PlayStation 4 and you got a little extra space in your hard drive, go for it. Try it. It's got Dark Souls-y controls. They're a little more finicky. They're not as tight as Dark Souls, but it's unique, and I would recommend it if you're looking for something a little odd and something that was unexpected. So yeah, that being said, I hope all of you guys that watch this have a great day, night, day, whatever it is where you are, and yeah, if you guys like, go ahead and like it. If you didn't, tell me why in the comments below, and share it with your friends if you'd like. And go freaking support this game, because this game has a kick-ass community and they're kind of awesome. And this game's kind of awesome. So, yeah, I'll leave you with that, guys. Alright, bye-bye.